Immanuel Kant was an 18th-century German philosopher whose ideas transformed the way people think about morality, knowledge, and human reasoning. He believed that reason should be the foundation of ethics and that moral actions must be based on universal principles rather than personal desires or consequences. Kant's philosophy, known as Kantian ethics, is still widely studied today, but it remains controversial. Some praise his strict moral rules for promoting fairness and justice, while others argue that his ideas are too rigid and unrealistic for real-life situations. One of Kant's most famous ideas is the categorical imperative, which is his method for determining whether an action is morally right. He argued that people should only act according to rules that they would want everyone else to follow. For example, if lying were morally acceptable, then everyone would lie and trust would disappear. Because of this, lying must always be wrong. This idea is controversial because it ignores the complexity of real-life moral dilemmas. Critics argue that strict moral rules do not always lead to the best outcomes. For instance, if lying could save someone's life, Kant's system would still say that lying is wrong, which many people find too extreme. Kant's distinction between phenomena and noumena is another important and controversial idea. He argued that humans can only experience the world as it appears to them, the phenomenal world, not as it actually is, the noumenal world. This means that reality exists beyond human perception, but we can never truly know it. This idea is controversial because it challenges the way people think about truth and reality. Some philosophers argue that Kant's separation of phenomena and noumena makes knowledge uncertain, while others believe that if we can never know reality itself, then Kant's entire system is built on speculation. Kant's duty-based ethics, also called deontology, states that people must follow moral rules regardless of personal consequences. He believed that morality should not be based on emotions or outcomes, but on a sense of duty. According to Kant, doing the right thing should not depend on whether it makes people happy or improves their situation. This idea is controversial because it seems to ignore human emotions and practical concerns. Critics argue that morality should consider consequences because strict rules can lead to harm in certain cases. For example, if telling the truth causes unnecessary suffering, many believe that it might be better to make an exception, but Kant's system does not allow for this kind of flexibility. Kant's idea of moral autonomy states that true morality comes from individuals choosing to follow rational moral laws rather than being forced or influenced by outside factors. He believed that moral actions are only valuable if they come from a person's own rational decision-making, not from fear of punishment or desire for rewards. This idea is controversial because it assumes that all people are capable of making purely rational moral choices. Critics argue that human behaviour is often shaped by emotions, culture, and social pressures, making true moral autonomy difficult to achieve. Others worry that Kant's focus on rationality ignores the importance of compassion and empathy in ethical decision-making. One of the most controversial aspects of Kant's work is his views on race and anthropology. In some of his writings, he made claims about racial hierarchy, suggesting that some races were less developed than others. While these views were common in the 18th century, they are now seen as deeply problematic. This idea is controversial because it raises ethical concerns about Kant's moral philosophy. Some scholars argue that his racist ideas contradict his own moral principles, while others try to separate his ethical theories from his personal beliefs. Today, there is an ongoing debate about how much Kant's moral philosophy should be judged in light of his outdated and harmful views on race.